This special episode was recorded live inside a prison. We appreciate your patience with any audio imperfections. Welcome to Raw Life, Real Faith with Michelle, sharing intimate interviews on life and faith. Together, we'll meet real people who share their fascinating stories and see how Christ graciously transforms us amidst the real imperfections of our lives.
Hey everyone, this is Michelle with Raw Life, Real Faith, where when we live in love and seek truth, every day is a new beginning. Today we have a special edition of Raw Life, Real Faith. We are at the Columbia River Correctional Institution, a minimum custody prison in Northeast Portland. It houses adults in custody who will be releasing soon into our community. We are recording a live show with 50 men who are serving time here. Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? Okay, it's so wonderful to be with you and got to meet each of you individually. So thank you for taking your time to be here. Life has many challenges, and as we go through our days, we learn that when we love and care for one another with our hearts and despite our circumstances, we find peace. Today, we're going to be talking to two people, Israel, who is serving time here, and Mike Reese, who is the director of the Department of Corrections. Mike was the chief of police of Portland. He was also the Multnomah County Sheriff. And with over 30 years of serving in public safety, he is now head of corrections for all of Oregon. We'll talk more about him soon. First, let's say hello to Israel. Israel, come on up. All right. Israel and I got to meet a little bit last week, which was fun, and just a beautiful heart. So happy to be here again with you, Israel. Welcome, and thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, may I ask, what is the crime that brought you to prison?
Serving 90 months with 7.5 years for attempted murder.
All right, thank you. How have you grown as a person since you got here, since you've been in prison?
It's a difficult question because when I first fell, when I say fell, that means when I first got arrested, I was really in like a bad place. It was really dark. It was like suicidal and, kind of like the end of my rope. And somehow prison saved me, which is interesting because a lot of people in here would say the exact same thing. Prison saved my life. It was just because if I kept going the way I was, I definitely would have been dead by now, or, definitely did something I really regretted. So I've grown quite a bit. I got to know myself, got to know God again, which is, great because at that time I felt like really forgotten. And so now, I'm back in my faith.
I love that. Do you want to expand a little bit more on that, on your faith?
Yeah, so my whole life, like my name is Israel, and the reason why my name is Israel is because my parents wanted me to be a pastor. So they named me Israel to grow into that. And so my whole youth, I was going to church and, doing Bible studies and stuff. And then when I became a teenager, I kind of fell out of it. My dad left and I just kind of went wild. So I kind of lost my faith for a long time. And then when I was getting into trouble, I was kind of mad at God for allowing certain things to happen to me, when in reality it was me just putting myself in bad situations. And I just needed somebody to blame, and I pretty much blamed God for all of it. And then once I get into prison, this time I was able to, sit in it for a while. When you do a lot of cell time, you kind of got to reflect on stuff. And so when I was in a one-man cell for a long time, just thought about all the stuff that I did, places that I put myself, how I put my family through things that I shouldn't have, and I had nobody to blame but myself.
I loved meeting you last week, and it's so wonderful to see you again. And I thank you for your beautiful, authentic heart. Thank you for sharing all of that. What advice would you wish fathers to give to their sons when they are young?
Well, as far as advice, I mean, there's so many things, but I think the number one thing that would be to just show up for your kids. Even if you're not in the right place, or even if you feel like you're failing, just show up. Because not only are you feeling like you're failing, but you're also not there if you don't show up. So I think if my dad was there, I might have been a different person. I might not have, I might have been worse. But now it's always a question. So I think that the advice I would give fathers is just show up for your sons.
Thank you. Very poignant. You told me that you have a daughter and a son.
Yes.
What would you want to say to each of them?
I always think about what I want to say to my kids, but I think I want to say something like to reflect on after I'm dead, after I'm gone. And it is a thought that, like, even if I'm gone, this is like I'm talking to my children, right? So even if I'm gone, I want you to know that I'm in heaven looking down on you. And I'll be here, and I'll be waiting for you. But don't be in a rush to get to me. I'll be there forever and watching you and your kids. So I hope to see you up there, but don't be in a rush to see me.
Okay, I got chilled on that one. Thank you. Skippo. I have one more question. What's the attitude among the adults in custody? If we asked maybe 100 adults in custody how they feel about why they are in prison, what would they say? How do people reflect and look back?
Well, a lot of people I feel cheated on a lot of things, right? It's mostly like our attorneys didn't give us the attention that we needed. The judicial system, sometimes the punishment seems harsh, you know. And so that's one way that most people feel. But I was in a class with a bunch of students from a college, and they came in and they asked all of us, there's 30 of us, 15 of them, 15 of us, and they asked all of us, how do we feel about prisons? Do we think prisons should be a thing? And all the college students said no, and all the inmates said yes. So it was an interesting study. It was an interesting thought because we know that sometimes it's jaded.
Why do you think they said yes? Why do you think you all said yes?
Because we've been around people that we feel are kind of dangerous or need to be away, or I don't know. Some people should be I don't know. It's a tricky question.
You said when you were young you wanted to be a pastor, is that right?
Yes.
Well, you are a bit of a motivational speaker. I think you speak from your heart, and I'm sure that you touch the lives of the people you are with here, and I know you will when you spend time outside of prison. So I really want to thank you for all the love and kindness that you've shared today and in our conversations, and I wish you the very, very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. All right, we are now going to meet with Mike Reese. Mike, welcome. So happy to be doing this show with you right now.
Thanks, Michelle. It's an honor to be here and to have a conversation with all of you.
Okay, so you oversee 12 correctional institutions with approximately 12,000 adults in custody. One thing I do want to say to everyone is I know Mike pretty well. I know his family. Mike is a good man, very, very caring, very, very smart, and just has a heart for people. So just the fact that you're here doing this is a reflection of that. So again, I want to say thank you for that.
You're very kind. Thank you.
All right, so you've been doing this work, and you've been doing public service for over 30 years, including chief of police, Multnomah County Sheriff, and now head of the Department of Corrections. These jobs are incredibly difficult. Why do you do this work? What motivates you?
Before I answer that, I'm going to just give a shout out to Israel.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much for your willingness to share, for your honesty and your humility. I was really impressed with what you had to say and how you said it. And I wish you the very best when we get released. Congratulations on that journey. And to all of you, you're here because you're getting released. And you're going back to your families and your support networks and your community. And so, to answer your question, why am I here? I'm here for you. I'm here to help you be a success. I started out in public safety service back in 1989, and I learned quickly in my career that the safety of our community is the foundation that allows for healthy, thriving communities where you can raise a family and grow a business, where people want to live and visit and be successful. So that's why I wanted to be part of the public safety community, to help foster that. It's a foundation for all of us to live and work in safe places. Why am I here at DOC? As Michelle said, I've had a few other positions. My wife would probably tell you that I can't keep a job, or that I failed retirement a couple times. But to be honest, I saw in the correction system the opportunity to help keep our community safe by making sure that you're successful when you get released. I'm really proud of the work we do. We're not perfect. I'm going to be really honest and real with you there. We make mistakes. Our corrections officers, our corrections staff sometimes make mistakes. But most of the people here that work at DOC are really here to support you, to make sure that when you leave, you never come back, that you are successful, that you re-enter our community with a job, with a place to live, with a connection to your support network that helps you be successful. So I wanted to be a part of that mission. I'll say this, when I first came here, our mission statement was all about accountability. And as I toured the facilities, it didn't really reflect what I was seeing. The engagement with adults in custody, with their resources, educational opportunities, treatment opportunities, the staff connection. And so we have a new mission statement that reflects, I think, better what we're trying to achieve at DOC. It's about the safety of our community. It's about accountability, but it's also about transforming lives and making sure that you are set up for success when you leave here.
Thank you. That's very inspiring. I love it. Okay, I do have this fun question. So you've had these different roles. These are big jobs. What did you want to be when you were a little boy? What did you want to be when you grew up? What was your daydream?
Sure, it certainly wasn't public safety. I think a lot of kids my age, and I'm old. I'll be the first to say that. So I remember the first time the astronauts went to the moon and walked on the moon. We sat as a family watching that on TV, and I wanted to be an astronaut. And so, I was really focused on that for a while, but, that requires joining the military and commitment. And, I grew up in North Portland. I kind of went this way instead of that way. And like a lot of kids my age, I had my rough time at times. I dropped out of college to join a rock band. So, is that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's that was early in my life. I thought being an astronaut looked, like probably hundreds of thousands of other kids my age that saw man walk on the moon for the first time. It just was awe-inspiring.
Well, it seems like these roles that you're doing are big like that too. So a little bit of walking on the moon might be happening on Earth a little. Who has inspired you most in life?
There's so many people that touch our lives. I think one of the things that I've learned over time is that what makes our journey easier is when we have a positive adult role model in our lives. And when we don't have that, my parents are divorced, and I have a stepfather who came into my life when I was 16. And like many of you, that's kind of a pivotal time in young men's lives. And I would say my stepfather, Clyde Saylor, was that a positive adult role model, male adult role model, who really touched me and made a huge difference in my life, and has continued to do so to this day. And then there's other people that you
that you come into contact with in a professional sense. There's people like Greg Clark, who was a commander with the Portland Police Bureau. And certainly I'm part of a faith community. So I've had faith leaders that have helped me, find my path and my journey, which is really important to me.
Sounds very similar to what Israel was saying about showing up and just having this father and then other people show up and be there is pretty powerful. So that's beautiful. How has doing public safety over 30 years changed you?
My kids would probably tell you that I like to give directions a lot. I got to tell them what to do. I think that's part of being a police officer. You get, you guys have probably experienced that, right? And we're being real, right? Police officers can be very directional focused. I try and tone that down and be a better listener in life now. I've learned that over the course of my public safety career, it's better to listen to people, hear their story, because most people have a story. And there's a reason why, we may be involved in a chaotic situation or a traumatic situation, and there's a story behind that. And I think it's really important that we listen and learn what's happening so that we can intervene in a way that is positive and not negative and cause more trauma or more hurt or pain to that situation.
That's very honest. Thank you for that. Very real. What keeps you up at night? What's a problem that you want to solve in regards to the Department of Corrections?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges we face, or I say we collectively, is that we don't have enough money to do the things that we would like to do to make your success manifest itself in an easier fashion. I mean, the programs you guys have, the opportunities, the employment opportunities, educational opportunities, all of those things cost money. And we have limited funds coming to us from the general fund of the state of Oregon. And I'm not here to share my budget woes, but we have finite resources, and I would like to provide more opportunity for you to be successful and to engage, because I think everybody, there's something touches everybody. It can be our faith programs, it can be our educational programs, it can be work programs, it can be OCE, you name it. There's something that can touch somebody and make a difference in their lives and change their attitude or change for their trajectory, if you will. We have limited opportunities, and I think that's a real barrier to your success. So we're fighting hard for you at the legislature to make sure that your needs are addressed. Some of you, has anybody been to the Oregon State Penitentiary? So that's
How many hands are raised right now? What would you say?
I don't know, half the people here have been at OSB.
Yeah.
It's an institution that has a great culture, got a lot of positive clubs and activities. It's over 100 years old. It's literally fallen down. We want to replace it with a modern facility that meets the needs of the adults in custody and the staff that work there. That's going to be a big budget ask for our legislature and our governor's office. We're fighting hard to replace that facility because we know it doesn't reflect, it was built 100 years ago when corrections was different. It was more of a punity model. Now we're focused on rehabilitation and transformation. And we need the program space, we need the medical space. We've got, I was just at OSP earlier this week, and you can look down the bottom tier, and what do you see in front of every cell? A wheelchair or a walker, because that's who's in custody in our facilities. We have an aging population, and we don't have the appropriate space to house people. And some of our prisons are very oppressive. They don't foster a rehabilitative perspective. They're more built on that punity model, and we need to change that.
How long would someone typically stay at OSP?
I met a man, we're taking media through OSP to show the challenges there. And I was listening to an adult custody, who'd been in custody for over 65 years at OSP. So people spent a lifetime there. There's a lot of folks that are going to live their lives out at OSP. And we want to make sure for those folks that are living their life in custody, we want them to have a purposeful life and feel like they're giving back to their community. But 95% of the people in custody are getting released. And we want to make sure they're set up for success when they leave our custody.
Mike, we're here at Columbia Ripper, and I'm looking right outside this window of the place where we're interviewing, and it's really quite beautiful. You said to me before, TV doesn't make it the way it is. The corridors are really nice. It seems very open. Is this design something you like? What do you think about that?
I think this is one of our newest facilities. It's still very old, was built in the 1990s, but most of our minimum custody facilities are more like a college campus vibe, dormitory style housing, program space. It's minimum custody, so there's less security staff and barriers, a lot more. We have, for example, alcohol and drug treatment programs in a lot of these facilities because people are getting released. And we want them to, if there's a substance use disorder issue, we want to make sure that's treated before they get released back into a community.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about what keeps you up at night and what else on your focus? What are some of your initiatives and any other challenges you want to add on top of that?
Well, I think for the audience here today, part of our, as an organization, we develop a strategic vision for where we're going, where we want you to go with us. It's a journey. And we got feedback on our strategic plan from a lot of adults in custody and your family members. So we reached out, we did surveys, we did reach out to CURE, which some of you may have family that participate in CURE, and other organizations as we develop that strategic plan. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we're from the time somebody's at intake until they're off supervision, that continuum of care, that there's a plan for that person to be successful. And there's accountability that goes along with that. A lot of folks that come into incarceration are there because of alcohol addiction or drug addiction. And, not everybody's ready for treatment. But that's really important to your long-term success if that's an issue for you. A lot of folks have unmet healthcare needs. A lot of people have mental health needs. We're going to try and provide the treatment resources for that. And again, I'm going to be really honest, we're not perfect and we don't do it well for everybody, but we're trying. And that's part of our strategic plan for the future, is to just get better and better and better at that. So that when you get released, you've got a place to go. The last thing I want to do is release somebody on the streets of any city in Oregon without a place to live. I want you to have a job. I want you to have a connection to your family or your support system. And those are things I want you to hold me accountable for delivering on. Because our strategic plan, that's number one, is making sure that continuum of care for adults in custody is there from intake to when you get off supervision. And then next, we're focused on the well-being of our staff, because I got to work through these people. We got great staff here. You got to shout out. Yeah. So we want to make sure our staff have the resources they need and they feel valued for the work they do. We're also focused on infrastructure. So we got aging facilities, aging IT systems. Those are all part of our strategic vision for the next 3 years, to make sure that as an organization, we're just getting better and better and better.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling kind of moved by all of this and really appreciate your sincere care for people. You care for the people, and in your roles, it seems, and in this role, everything is about the person and what's in it for them, and that's beautiful. So just very thankful for your vision, and thank you for doing this job. doing this job, because you had to say yes, and you did. So thank you for that. What would you like to say to these 50 men who are with us right now and to all of the adults in custody in Oregon?
Well, I want them to know, and I want you to know that I work for you. That I'm here to help you be successful when you get released, to do everything I can to lead this organization and with that vision in mind, and that you should be holding me accountable for making sure you have the resources you need to be successful. I want to just, I know talking about strategic vision planning, it's like watching paint dry. That's painful, right? But at my level, that's a lot about what we do. We manage this large, complex organization, and we're trying to make sure at the individual level that when Israel gets released, he's got a place to go to, and he has employment opportunities, and he has a connection to his family, and that, he feels like he's back in the community, and that he can be successful, and that he can move past wherever was holding him back. And, that those are the challenges we all face. I want to face them with you. I want to be your supporter. I want to be a supporter for the staff that do this work every day. And I just feel very honored to have this opportunity.
Well, we are really grateful that you're doing this role. I can't think of anyone better to do this role. I have little tears in my eyes. I'm so touched by you and how you think and how you look at all of this. So we're all on this together, right? We're all on this together, and we're doing it together. And it's nice to have a leader who really gets that and is holding hands with all of us. So thank you for that. Thank you, Mike, so much. And I want to thank all of you guys. You signed up to come to this. You signed up and you're here. And it means a lot to me that you want to hear all of this. I just want to wish you so much love in your life, so much success in your life, happiness, joy, all the things that even when you were little boys, little kids, and on your dreams, that they come true. I always say the best of my life is yet to come. I hope that all of you feel the best of your life is yet to come. So that's what I have. Can we have a shout out here? I think, and hello from the crowd or anything to say goodbye? All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And I do want to also give a special thank you also to the staff who are remarkable. Couldn't be, nothing could happen without the staff. So thank you. This is the Michelle with Raw Life, Real Faith. May we bring love and hope into our future as we reflect with truth upon our lives. Thanks to all here at the Columbia River Correctional Institution, to Israel, to Mike Reese. Until next time, have a great day.
You've been listening to Raw Life, Real Faith with Michelle, sharing intimate interviews on life and faith. You'll find this show on every major podcast platform, as well as rawliferealfaith.com.